Stop being a nice woman. Doesn't mean abandoning kindness, it means redefining it. Too often being nice becomes a disguise for people-pleasing and self-sacrifice, leaving you drained and unfulfilled. This isn't a call to be rude or dismissive, but to stand firm in your worth, set boundaries, and honor your true self. Kindness is powerful, but when it lacks balance, it turns into weakness. It's time to embrace strength with grace and claim the respect you deserve. Ladies, let me ask you this: what comes to mind when you hear the word nice? For many, it brings to mind someone who is kind, agreeable, or pleasant. It paints the picture of someone who goes out of their way to keep peace, to avoid conflict, and to make others feel comfortable. But here's the truth: when you're too nice, when you consistently put others ahead of yourself, you risk being overlooked, undervalued, or even taken advantage of. The world has a way of mistaking endless niceness for passivity, and passivity often invites disrespect. Kindness is a virtue. It shows the beauty of compassion and the power of empathy. But niceness without boundaries? That's a weakness. It leaves you open to manipulation, disappointment, and burnout. It's important to ask yourself, am I being nice because I truly want to be? Or because I fear the consequences of saying no, when your niceness stems from fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked? It ceases to be a strength. Instead, it becomes a trap that keeps you from living authentically. It's time to redefine what being a strong woman looks like. A strong woman knows that being kind and being assertive are not opposites, they are partners. She understands that kindness without boundaries is like a river without banks. It spills over, loses direction, and eventually dries up. A woman who is strong doesn't seek to be rude, she seeks to be clear. She doesn't aim to be selfish, she aims to be self-aware. These are not qualities that push people away, rather, they draw the right people closer. They create relationships built on mutual respect and genuine connection. Too often, women are conditioned to believe that being nice is their primary duty. From a young age, many of us are taught to smile, to nod, to accommodate. But here's the thing: accommodation has its limits. When you constantly say yes to others, you are often saying no to yourself. Each time you ignore your own needs for the sake of others, you send a silent message to the world that your needs don't matter. And when that message is repeated over and over, people start believing it. Worse, you might start believing it too. Strength doesn't mean you have to raise your voice or bang your fist on the table. Strength means standing firm in your values, even when it's difficult. It means knowing when to compromise and when to hold the line. Imagine for a moment a tree in the wind. A strong tree bends, but it doesn't break. That's what assertiveness looks like. It's the ability to adapt without losing your core. It's the grace to listen without being swayed. And most importantly, it's the confidence to say, this is where I stand, and I stand here for a reason. Being a nice woman doesn't mean you have to be a martyr. It doesn't mean you have to give and give until there's nothing left for yourself. True kindness starts with self-care. When you take care of yourself, when you set healthy boundaries, you're not being selfish, you're being responsible. You're ensuring that you have the energy, the focus, and the strength to show up fully for the people and causes that matter most to you. So how do you stop being too nice? Start by getting comfortable with discomfort. Saying no will feel awkward at first. Standing up for yourself might feel selfish. But remember, growth is never comfortable, and comfort rarely leads to growth. Each time you choose to prioritize your needs, you're building a muscle, the muscle of self-respect. And like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The world doesn't need women who are nice at the expense of their own well-being. It needs women who are kind, yes, but also confident. Women who can show empathy without losing themselves. Women who are willing to stand tall, speak up, and claim their place at the table. Strength and kindness are not opposites. When combined, they create a powerful force, one that commands respect and inspires others. Ladies, don't let the fear of being disliked keep you from living authentically. Don't let the desire to keep peace rob you of your own voice. Be kind, but be firm. Be gracious, but be clear. And above all, remember that your worth is not determined by how much you please others. It's determined by how true you are to yourself. So stand tall, set boundaries, and step into the strength that's been within you all along. A queen doesn't apologize for protecting her castle, and neither should you. Think about it. Her castle represents her space, her priorities, her well-being. She knows that if she lets just anyone walk through the gates, the very foundation of her kingdom could be compromised. So she chooses carefully. She stands firm. She understands that protecting her boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential. The same is true for you. If you don't protect your time, your energy, and your peace of mind, who will? Being nice often leads to saying yes when your heart is screaming no, and every time you ignore that inner voice, you give away a piece of your power. Your time and energy are precious resources, more valuable than gold. Think of it this way: if you had a bag full of gold coins, would you hand them out freely to anyone who asked? Of course not. You'd be cautious, thoughtful, and intentional about how you spent those coins. Yet so many of us treat our time and energy as if they are limitless, saying yes to every request, every favor, every invitation, even when it comes at a cost to ourselves. The truth is, every yes you give to someone else is a no you're giving to yourself. No to your rest. No to your goals. No to the things that truly matter to you. And here's the surprising part: when you set clear boundaries, people will respect you more, not less. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You might worry about disappointing others or being seen as selfish. But the reality is, most people respect clarity and honesty far more than they value someone who is constantly agreeable. Think about the people in your life whom you admire most. Chances are, they're not the ones who bend over backward to please everyone. They're the ones who know their worth, who stand firm in their convictions, and who aren't afraid to say no when it matters. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you have to be harsh or unkind. It's not about shutting people out, it's about deciding who and what you let in. It's about creating space for what truly aligns with your values and priorities. When you set boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself, you're also teaching others how to treat you. You're saying, this is what I value, and I expect you to value it too. And the people who truly care about you will respect those boundaries. They might even be inspired to set their own. Let's talk about the power of saying no. It's a small word, just 2 letters, but it carries a lot of weight. Saying no can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being the one who always says yes. But every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to something that does. You're saying yes to your time, your energy, your peace of mind. You're saying yes to your dreams, your goals, your priorities. And over time, you'll find that saying no becomes easier, because you'll start to see the benefits. You'll have more time for the things that matter to you. You'll feel less stressed, less overwhelmed, and more in control of your life. Now, some people might not like your boundaries. They might push back, especially if they're used to you always saying yes. That's okay. Let them. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about controlling others. It's about taking control of your own life. You can't please everyone, and trying to do so will only leave you exhausted and unfulfilled. The people who truly value you will respect your boundaries, even if it takes them a little time to adjust. Think of boundaries as a form of self-respect. When you set boundaries, you're showing yourself that you matter. You're affirming your worth. And that's not just important, it's necessary. Because when you respect yourself, others will follow suit. They'll see that you value your time and energy, and they'll start to value it too. So start protecting your castle. Decide what's most important to you, and don't be afraid to defend it. Remember, a queen doesn't apologize for protecting what's hers. She doesn't feel guilty for putting her needs first. And neither should you. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's an act of love for yourself and for the people who truly matter in your life. The world will treat you exactly how you teach it to treat you. Think about that for a moment. Every action you take, every choice you make, sends a message to the people around you about how you expect to be treated. If you consistently put yourself last, if you constantly sacrifice your own needs to make others happy, you're teaching them that your needs don't matter. And once people begin to believe that, they'll act accordingly, often without even realizing it. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. It's about understanding the subtle ways we shape the way the world responds to us. Self-respect isn't just a concept, it's a practice. It's the decisions you make every day that show the world and yourself how much you value who you are. It's in the boundaries you set, the relationships you nurture, and the ones you let go of. When you respect yourself, you create a foundation that others can't help but notice. It's like planting a seed that grows into a sturdy tree. Over time, that tree becomes impossible to ignore, and its strength inspires others to treat it with care and admiration. But here's the thing, respect always starts at home. It begins with how you treat yourself. If you're constantly putting yourself down, second-guessing your worth, or ignoring your own needs, you're setting a standard, and it's not a healthy one. The way you speak to yourself matters. The way you care for yourself matters. These are the building blocks of self-respect. If you don't value your own time, energy, and well-being, how can you expect others to? It's not about arrogance or selfishness. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and treating yourself accordingly. Many people struggle with this concept because they've been taught that prioritizing themselves is selfish. But there's a critical distinction between selfishness and self-respect. Self-respect doesn't mean disregarding others. It means understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup. It's about ensuring that your own needs are met so you can show up fully and authentically for the people and things that matter most. When you respect yourself, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're creating a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. Imagine for a moment that you're the captain of a ship. If you neglect your duties, if you don't take care of the ship, it won't just affect you, it will affect everyone on board. The ship will start to falter, and eventually it won't be able to sail at all. The same principle applies to your life. When you respect yourself, you're ensuring that you have the strength and stability to navigate whatever comes your way. You're setting a course that others can follow, not because you demand it, but because your actions inspire it. Self-respect also means making tough choices. It means walking away from situations or relationships that don't serve you, even when it's difficult. It means saying no to things that drain you, even when you feel pressure to say yes. It's about trusting your instincts and valuing your own well-being enough to prioritize it. These decisions might not always be easy, but they are always worth it. Each time you choose to respect yourself, you're reinforcing your worth not just to others, but to yourself. The beautiful thing about self-respect is that it's contagious. When you respect yourself, you give others permission to do the same. You set a standard that encourages them to treat you with the same care and consideration you show yourself. And it doesn't stop there. Your self-respect can inspire others to reflect on their own lives and make changes that lead to greater respect for themselves and those around them. Respect is a two-way street, but it always starts with you. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control what you tolerate and how you respond. When you prioritize self-respect, you create a life that aligns with your values and needs. You attract relationships and opportunities that reflect your worth. And most importantly, you build a sense of inner peace and confidence that no one can take away. So teach the world how to treat you by treating yourself with the respect you deserve. Speak kindly to yourself, honor your boundaries, and don't be afraid to prioritize your own needs. Remember, respect isn't something you wait for, it's something you cultivate. And when you cultivate self-respect, you create a foundation for a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and deeply empowering. There's a balance to this art, and it truly is an art balancing grace with strength. It's about knowing when to be soft and when to stand firm, about being kind without allowing others to walk over you. Too often we're taught to see these qualities as opposites, as if you must choose between being gracious or being strong. But the truth is, they are complementary. When combined, grace and strength create a powerful harmony that not only commands respect, but also fosters genuine connection. Grace doesn't mean being a pushover. It doesn't mean bending to everyone's demands or hiding your true feelings to avoid conflict. Grace is about how you carry yourself, especially in challenging moments. It's about maintaining your composure, choosing your words thoughtfully, and showing empathy even when you disagree. Strength, on the other hand, is about standing your ground. It's about knowing your values, protecting your boundaries, and having the courage to say, "This is what I believe, and I'm not afraid to stand by it." Imagine for a moment you're in a conversation where someone is challenging your perspective. You have two choices. You could respond timidly, saying, "It's okay, whatever you want, even though you don't truly agree." Or you could say, "I understand your perspective, but this is where I stand." The second response carries both grace and strength. It acknowledges the other person's viewpoint while affirming your own. It shows that you're open to dialogue, but unwilling to compromise your values simply to please others. Strong women don't crumble under pressure, they rise. And they do so with elegance. They know that strength isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's about being steady, calm, and unwavering in the face of adversity. Strength is the ability to hold your position without losing your temper, to face criticism without losing your confidence, and to make tough decisions without losing your heart. It's the quiet assurance that says, "I know who I am, and I trust myself to navigate this." Never mistake softness for a lack of strength. Softness is not weakness, it's a choice. It takes incredible courage to remain kind and open in a world that often rewards harshness and aggression. A soft yet strong woman is like water, gentle enough to nourish life, but powerful enough to carve through mountains. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her presence, her clarity, and her quiet confidence speak volumes. Balancing grace with strength also means knowing when to let go. Sometimes grace is about walking away from situations or relationships that no longer serve you. It's about releasing the need to prove yourself or win every argument. Strength in these moments is the ability to say, "I choose peace over pride. I choose to protect my energy. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom." It's understanding that your value isn't determined by how much you endure, but by how well you honor yourself. One of the most powerful aspects of this balance is how it influences others. When you embody grace and strength, you set an example for those around you. You show them that it's possible to be kind without being a doormat, to be strong without being harsh. You inspire others to find their own balance, to navigate their own challenges with dignity and courage. This ripple effect can transform not only your relationships, but also your entire environment. It's important to remember that finding this balance is a journey. There will be times when you lean too far toward grace and feel like you've compromised yourself. There will be times when you lean too far toward strength and worry that you've come across as cold or unyielding. That's okay. What matters is that you keep striving, keep refining, and keep growing. Each experience teaches you something valuable about yourself and brings you closer to the equilibrium you're seeking. So embrace the art of balancing grace with strength. Be kind, but be clear. Be empathetic, but be firm. Let your actions show that you respect others, but never at the expense of respecting yourself. Carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth, who isn't afraid to stand tall, and who does so with elegance and poise. In doing so, you'll not only earn the respect of others, you'll also cultivate a deep sense of self-respect that will serve as your foundation, no matter what life brings your way. Let me tell you a secret: trying to make everyone happy is a losing game. No matter how kind, thoughtful, or accommodating you are, someone will always have an opinion about how you could be better, different, or more in line with their expectations. That's the nature of life. People see the world and you through the lens of their own experiences, biases, and desires. If you live for their approval, you're handing over the reins of your life to people who may not even understand, let alone value, your true self. So why waste your energy chasing approval? The truth is, the need for approval often stems from the fear of rejection, of being disliked, or of not being enough. But here's the thing, even if you twist yourself into knots trying to please everyone, you'll still face criticism. Someone will always find something to disapprove of, no matter how hard you try. The more you chase their validation, the more you lose sight of yourself. It's like running on a treadmill. You expend all this effort but go nowhere. Instead of focusing on external validation, it's time to focus on living a life that aligns with your values, passions, and dreams. When you prioritize living authentically, something amazing happens. You start to attract the right people, the ones who see you for who you are and appreciate you without conditions. These are the people who respect your boundaries, celebrate your successes, and stand by you in your challenges. They don't need you to prove yourself or conform to their expectations. They value you because you value yourself. But you'll only find these people when you stop living for the approval of everyone else. Living authentically requires courage. It means standing firm in your beliefs, even when they're unpopular. It means making choices that feel right to you, even if others don't understand them. This isn't about being rebellious or dismissive. It's about honoring the unique person you are. You have dreams, values, and aspirations that are uniquely yours. To compromise those for the sake of approval is to dim your own light. And let's be clear, the world doesn't need a watered-down version of you. It needs the real you, the one with unique gifts, perspectives, and strengths. Think about how much time and energy you spend worrying about what others think. Now imagine channeling that energy into something meaningful. Imagine using it to pursue your goals, to nurture your goals, to nurture your passions, or to invest in relationships that truly matter. The moment you stop living for approval, you free yourself to live with purpose. You stop being a prisoner to other people's opinions and start being the author of your own story. Of course, breaking free from the need for approval isn't always easy. It takes practice. Start by asking yourself, am I making this choice because it feels right to me, or because I want someone else to approve of it? Be honest with yourself. The more you practice this self-reflection, the more you'll start to notice patterns. You might find that you've been saying yes to things you don't truly want to do, or holding back from pursuing dreams because you fear judgment. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward change. Next, give yourself permission to disappoint people. That's right, disappoint them. You're not responsible for meeting everyone's expectations, and trying to do so will only leave you drained and unfulfilled. It's okay if some people don't agree with your choices. What matters is that you agree with them. When you make decisions that align with your values, you can stand by them with confidence, even in the face of criticism. Remember, approval is fleeting. People's opinions change like the wind, and what they value today might not matter tomorrow. But living a life that's true to who you are, that's enduring. That's where fulfillment lies. When you let go of the need for approval, you'll find a sense of freedom and peace that can't be shaken by the opinions of others. You'll stop looking outward for validation and start finding it within yourself. In the end, the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. Make it a priority to nurture that relationship. Speak kindly to yourself, honor your needs, and pursue the things that light you up inside. The more you align your life with your authentic self, the less you'll feel the need for external validation. And the best part? When you're true to yourself, the right people, the ones who truly matter, will naturally be drawn to you. They'll appreciate you not for what you do to please them, but for who you genuinely are. And that kind of connection is far more meaningful than any fleeting approval. He said, here's a simple truth people don't value what's free or easy. It's human nature to appreciate what requires effort, commitment, or investment. If you give away your time, energy, and kindness without boundaries or expectations, it's easy for others to take it for granted. This doesn't mean people are inherently unkind. It means they respond to the cues you give them about your own worth. If you don't value yourself, it's hard for others to see your value. That's why it's essential to own your worth. Owning your worth starts with understanding it. Take a moment to think about everything you bring to the table, your talents, your experiences, your perspectives, your kindness. These aren't just random traits, they're gifts. They're what make you unique and valuable. When you recognize these qualities in yourself, you begin to see how much you truly have to offer. And that recognition changes the way you move through the world. It gives you confidence, and confidence is magnetic. When you own your worth, people can feel it. They sense that you value yourself, and in turn, they start to value you more. But owning your worth doesn't mean shouting your achievements from the rooftops or demanding attention. It's not about arrogance or self-importance. It's about quiet, unshakable confidence. It's about knowing your value so deeply that you don't need anyone else to validate it. This kind of confidence allows you to walk into any room with your head held high. Not because you think you're better than anyone else, but because you know you have something meaningful to contribute. I think of it this way: imagine a rare gemstone. It doesn't have to announce its value, its brilliance speaks for itself. The same goes for you. When you own your worth, you don't have to try to convince others of it. Your actions, your energy, and your presence will naturally reflect it. And the people who truly matter will recognize it without you having to say a word. One of the biggest barriers to owning your worth is the fear of being seen as selfish or demanding. Many of us, especially those who are naturally giving, struggle with this. We worry that by setting boundaries or asserting our value, we'll come across as unkind or self-centered. But here's the reality: owning your worth isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you value yourself, you're better equipped to serve others. You can give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. You can show up fully, authentically, and with purpose. Owning your worth also means expecting others to treat you with respect. This doesn't mean being harsh or confrontational. It means setting clear boundaries and holding them. If someone takes advantage of your kindness, it's not unkind to address it. If someone disrespects your time, it's not wrong to call it out. Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you command by the way you carry yourself and the standards you uphold. When you confidently show the world your value, you create a ripple effect. Others begin to treat you with the respect and consideration you deserve. Of course, there will always be people who don't see your worth, no matter how clearly you demonstrate it. That's okay. Not everyone will appreciate you. And that's not a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of their ability to recognize it. Don't let their lack of understanding diminish your confidence. Instead, focus on the people who do see your worth, who respect you for who you are, and who uplift you. Surrounding yourself with these people will reinforce your sense of value and help you stay grounded in your self-worth. Owning your worth also means being unapologetically confident in your decisions and your path. There will always be moments when others question your choices or try to steer you in a different direction. In those moments, remember this: no one else has walked in your shoes. No one else has your unique combination of experiences, insights, and dreams. Trust yourself. Trust that you know what's best for you. When you own your worth, you're not just saying, I matter, you're saying, I trust myself to navigate my own life. Finally, remember that owning your worth is a practice, not a destination. It's something you cultivate over time through small, consistent actions. It's in the way you speak to yourself, the way you prioritize your needs, and the way you show up for your goals. Each time you choose to honor your value, you strengthen your sense of self-worth. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. So be unapologetically confident in who you are and what you bring to the table. Know that your time, energy, and kindness are valuable, and treat them as such. When you own your worth, you don't just elevate your own life, you inspire others to recognize their own value too. And that is a gift that benefits everyone around you. You said, ladies, it's not about stopping kindness, it's about stopping unbalanced niceness. You're not here to dim your light to make others comfortable. Stand tall, set boundaries, and live boldly. Because when you step into your power, you inspire others to do the same. Let's make that the standard.